Howdy, Beaver Bard here, and welcome. Alright, so as the title suggests, we're going to play around with a shooting range system. Show you where we are here so far on the FPS series. We're using the FPS blueprint for the first-person character. We are using the City Studios Battle Royale asset pack. And we've created a couple basic AI. And the only thing that I've done differently in here is, let's get back over here to the start of the shooting range. I'm going to set up a shooting range for people to be able to go in there, and it'll be like a tutorial level. All I've done is turn on physics, and as you can see, we need to make some adjustments to our targets. And I have left the ability for the line trace to stay active. But as you can see, yeah, just a little bit too much juice on the shooting ability here. Oh, this one's a bit farther away. Let's zoom in. And we'll turn off that line trace just because we don't need it anymore. And we'll fix any issues where we can't get through a doorway. It's a minor fix. But as you can see, the targets, that's just really not going to work. So we'll start off simple, and we'll start increasing the abilities of our targets so that they don't fly off into orbit every time we shoot at them. So all I did was I enabled physics on them, and what we'll do is we'll actually create a whole new map. So let's go to File and New Level. And you know what? What the heck? Let's use a default and save selected. Oakley dokley. Of course, the first thing I do, dump that guy. Come in here, right click, create new folder, map, stuff, 2 F's, okay. And I'm going to take all this stuff and I'm just going to drag it into there so we can start getting clean, neat, and organized. And I'm going to go ahead and save current. And we're going to call this shooting, we'll just call this range 01. We'll put an underscore in there just because. So range 01. Not to be confused with range 15. What? You don't know what range 15 is? You live under a rock. Range 15 is kind of a kick-ass movie. It is what I call the stupidest or dumbest movie you'll ever love. Range 15 was put on by a group called Article 15 Clothing, Ranger Up, Black Rifle Coffee Company. Yeah. It is absolutely a stupid movie. If you love Airplane, if you love Naked Gun series, and especially if you're a veteran, you'll definitely love it. Let's put this at -10, and let's go ahead and make this 5,000 long and 2,000 wide and 10 tall. This will be a good start for our shooting range. And one thing I do want is grab our player start, and let's run him all the way back to here. And yeah, 2,000 is good enough. So the next thing we want to do is go to World Settings, and Game Mode Override is First Person Game Mode. So now if we hit play, we can actually appear in the map. At some point we're going to have to change rate of fire on this weapon because you don't want to be able to spam fire like that. So the next thing we're going to do is go to our player folder, go to our first person character. If you missed that part, I moved it. Go back to the line trace by channel, and let's turn off everything on that. So we'll set it to none. And another thing that I want to do, if time permits, our FP gun, I want to change that weapon out to one from the City Studios asset pack so that it looks more like we're actually shooting. And what I'll do is I'll pick out one and we'll look at the different weapons that are available. And there's quite a bit. So what I'll probably end up doing is starting off with the sniper rifle, and one of them. Like, we'll start off with maybe the Dragunov, or we'll start off with this guy, which is very similar to a Mark 14 EBR, and we'll set up a scope on it. The magazine got let's see which magazine. That one's actually called Sniper 01, so Sniper Mag 01. We'll put that mag on, and we'll put the scope on to go with it. Either one of the scopes. We have several sniper scopes we can use, and I'll probably do like the we'll say like this one right here. We'll get to that in just a few moments, but let's actually start looking at how we're going to set up the targets. And I honestly don't know if I can do it the way that I want to, but let's go ahead and gadgets folder. And I've never tried this in a blueprint, so we'll see first. And we'll do a blueprint class, actor, and target 01. Now, what I'm talking about is adding in a physics constraint. So first thing we want to do is actually get our target, and I'm going to go back to our props. Is it our props? Yeah, see, another thing we're going to do later on is with this we're going to make the propane tanks actually explode. But there we go. Target 01. Wow, gee, convenient name. And let's now add component, static mesh. Boop, there we go. We have our target. But what I want to do is make sure that we're on ground level. That looks good. But let's actually add in and I don't know if I can do this, a physics constraint. Yes, you can add that in here. And we'll work on those later. Twist motions. But what we need to do is create this physics asset to actually bind to that static mesh. And I've never done this in a blueprint. You can do it on the map. That's no big deal. But this is a new thing for me. Just like the binoculars and were something new to me. Just kind of figured it out as I went along. And socket, hidden, component. Let's see, there's no collision on it. So enable projection, linear limits, and angular limits. Well, something we'll look at later also. But what we're wanting to do is when we shoot this thing is, let's go to our target first, and we want to simulate physics right there. So we'll compile and save. Now if we look at our physics constraint, we need to find where we can attach this. You know, as an option, I might be able to do this. There is no skeleton for this guy, since it is a static mesh. So it's not like we can add a socket on here. So we need to actually, yeah, it's probably going to be in here in the constraints. Position target, linear motor, angular, cooking. You know what? It might actually be easier to convert that over to a skeletal mesh and then do that. Coffee, the elixir of the gods. Good stuff. So let's actually attach it to, and all I did was I drug it up to that and attach it to the prop target. And I don't know if that's actually going to work or not. But you know what? There's only one way to find out. Let's go ahead and save all. Let's throw one in here, and I don't know why, but by default, whenever you set it up this way, the map is sideways. And turn on snapping. So now we hit play, and that obviously did not work. So let's actually see what else we can do here, because with our physics constraint, setting up in here, like I said, I've never done it in here in a blueprint type environment. So I'll show you what I'm actually trying to do here, and let's go ahead and dump that, and we'll go ahead and just as a very physical manifestation here, let's grab a basic shape of a cube. We're going to leave it at its current size, except for here, we're going to go to 0.1, and we'll leave that where it is. We will grab one of those targets, and let's drag that in here. Rotate it to behind. And let's actually put this at, so it's easy for us, easy for me, 0 and 0. And then we'll take this guy and we'll do 0, 0. And for right now, just for generalized testing, we're going to hit play, and let's use our scope, zoom in. So I got to fix that scope zoom. Okay, so that's that. But if we set our target to simulate physics, and now we hit play, knocks him into orbit. We don't want to knock him into orbit, so let's actually come over here and grab a physics constraint actor. And again, let's go ahead and zero that out. For now, I'm going to lift it up a little bit, and I'm going to lift our target, and for some reason it decided it was going to change it back to 10 again. Generally leave it on 5. So we'll grab our physics actor, and let's start off with constraint actor 1 will be our base plate. Constraint actor 2 will be our target. Now if we hit play, we get some reaction out of it. And it doesn't always want to stand back up, but that's fine. We essentially want it to reset. So with that physics constraint, let's see if we actually can lower it down just a little bit more. Because, well, actually, just to demonstrate here, if I lift it up to right there, we'll say, and then hit play, you can see it's going to set that constraint point to the location of where you set your physics constraint. So if we grab that physics constraint and we lower it down, we want to have the ability for it to move. So if we actually put it down here at 5, let's see what happens now. Not bad. Let's actually try it at 3. So occasionally it just goes down there and just completely stops. So another thing we could do is, it's going to annoy me that when you're looking at first-person character, all you can see is the friggin' shadow of the gun. So I would assume you'd probably want to turn off shadows on that. So it looked like it just popped up on its own there. So I would actually take the base plate now, and let's shrink that down to where it's at 5. Grab our physics constraint. It's at 3. Let's try it at 1. And our target is actually hovering a little bit now. So we want to lower it down as well. So that's pretty good. I like that. But what I really wanted to do was set that up to where it links in the actual blueprint. And like I said, I've never tried to do this inside of a actual blueprint itself. So let's actually add in another component of a cube, and let's go ahead and change it to 0.1. Y. So now we have our base. I want to lower it down so it's essentially underground. Get our physics constraint, and let's put it at 0. Probably going to want to have it at 1 or something of that nature. You want it a little bit higher, so you do have some movement. So if we put this at 3, it's going to allow that to flop around. You've got swing motion where you can have limiting and locked constraints. So I would imagine that would be what you'd want to do, is probably set that up and get a rotation limit so that you can actually prevent it from falling all the way over. You want it to kind of bobble back and forth and look as though it's there. Position target. The reason why I want to do it inside of a blueprint is would really like for it to be able to bounce and come back, and only bounce in one direction. See, that's not locked to the base yet. This one is, but it's not locked into a single blueprint, and I can't lock the constraints in. I mean, if I lower this down just a hair, that puts the base of it still on the ground, but you're still going to launch that in outer space. And that's just one basic type. You could have, you could make other plates and things like that that will hang. But to be able to get it back to where it's always facing the shooter, or it just vanishes completely, there's a couple different options we can do. I like the fact that it's able to move like that, and you can actually edit your physics constraints inside here. Like I said, I really want to do that in the blueprint. And I will figure it out. I won't let it defeat me. I don't let much defeat me for very long before just giving up completely. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, it's got to be something in here. Like I said, this is all new terrain for me, you know, but I like figuring out things as I go. Now, another option you could do is also increase the weight of your target. And you've got, on your simulate physics, you've got mass. And just by checking that, it set it automatically to 100. So let's see what happens with it set to 100. It freaks out every now and then, but you can shoot it to reset it. And the whole thing of wanting to do this in a blueprint is being able to set it to where it will actually rebound back. And if it doesn't, within a certain set amount of time, let it do a check and see if it's in position and have it just teleport it back to the correct location or set its world location. So if we do the same thing here and turn on that, compile and save, that's now added a little bit of weight to our target, which will be the one on the right, and that's going to help with it a little bit. So let's actually increase the weight. Now let's take it up to 1,000. Not 10,000, 1,000. Linear dampening, angular dampening, enable gravity, that kind of stuff. That's a little better. So even without a physics constraint working to attach it in there, the weight of it being 1,000 is a lot better overall. So let's actually do that one to 1,000 and try that. Gotta use our sniper scope. That's good. The physics constraint is going to keep it from falling over completely, but you get a nice little reaction out of the target whenever you hit it. Whereas this one, we could probably even go in there to that target, and like I said, I will figure out this physics constraint deal and see what I can do, but for now, let's jack the weight out to 1,500. So to me, if you're going to set it up this way, it's inside the map, so you're going to have to copy and paste to get it to move correctly. That's just a straight knockover. So by having the weight added in, then you know that it actually works. So moving this guy is just a matter of grabbing target and dropping it in. And since I don't want to have to keep replacing the height on here, what I want to do is come in here and either remove the cube or, and for right now that's what I'm going to do, is remove the cube and the physics constraint, compile and save, and now we just have a steady target that we can drop in that'll be a knockover target. So now if we come in here and drop in a target, then all we have to do is rotate it 90 degrees. So now we have two different types of targets. Let's close that back up, and actually let's call this our ground. Sorry, coffee cup getting in the way. Loves my coffee, but it's in their way. So now we have these three items right there that have to be linked together. So I'm going to create a new folder for right now. New target. And I'm going to grab them. No, grab them. Put that in the new target folder. And now we have two different options for our target range. We have the ability to set up one that just kind of reacts a little bit, and then we have one that we can just knock over. I'd probably still go ahead and let's make that weight 2,000. We wanted it to not be so tippy. We wanted it to knock over, but we don't want it going 4 miles. So I think that's cool. So the next thing I'd want to do is, for our target range, is let's go ahead and set up our walls to kind of surround us in here. There's some stuff inside the asset pack that we can actually just surround things. Environments. We could just set up sandbag walls all the way around, or whatever we want. Port walls, it's like a generic. Props. I think props would probably be the best way. You've got this sandbag barrier here, which is multiples already together, which is cool. Get some boxes, small crates. We got to have a tower in here just because, you know. I'll put one of those in. And we have these wall sections here, which are for the rain, so you can actually walk around and get behind barricades and so forth. But I'm thinking that's just the mesh for a fence. What about this guy? And unfortunately, it doesn't have the fence mesh in it, so you're going to have to combine the two together. So I think for the essence of time for right now, I think that top sandbag group will actually be good enough. And we'll just take it and make it up as our wall. And you notice I don't have a ground material on there yet. And that's fine, because we can take the whole floor away and actually make a terrain completely different or whatever. But I've also got my usual, and I haven't imported them in yet, so I'll have to probably do that later. Is I'll get my materials that I use for just normal floor textures or ground textures and put those in. And let's go ahead and set that there. I'm going to take this target and I'm going to create a new folder. BP target. That way I know which targets are which. And then these guys I'll put in separately, and we'll go ahead and just put this together. Now that I got two out, I can Control C, Control V, and do two of them. And then I'll grab all of them, and now I can drop four of them in. And I'm doing the long side first, just simply because I want to fill it as far as I possibly can. And that's going to be good enough. Now I can take and select all of them. Control C and Control V. There we go. Now I can go ahead and do the same thing with the backstop wall. Just need to rotate them, drag them into position. Now we want to make this look as continuous as possible, if possible. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this. And if we have any clearance issues, then I can always use individual blocks here. So like that, we have a gap. So let's actually try to fill this gap the best that we can, and then go back in here and put some individuals in. Let's see, another way we could do this is bring it forward and lock it in this way. Make it look like they're kind of overlapping each other. Well, there's always a way to do everything. What other kind of targets would look good in here? I'm not going to spend a whole heck of a lot of time making this actual shooting range for right now, because I would like to actually get into changing out the weapon. Now something like this right here, we can always just take and do that. And we'll just rotate that one so it doesn't look like it's just what it is. Alright, so with that, we can set up something else for the back wall. It doesn't have to be the same. I mean, I can come in here, make it look like there's actually a entryway, so you're just not spawning into a captive area. You know what? I got a better idea. These sections are a little bit short. Thought there was full-size containers in here. Okay. Maybe not. Alright, so little side note for developers from Cinti Studios. It's nice that we can do it this way, but having a shipping container, the shipping containers are only open on one side. I know why it's done this way, because it gives the users flexibility in creating stuff like this. So, still grateful, still love it. So we're just gonna simulate that this is our target backstop area. And I'll spend some more time actually populating the map. You know, with something like this right here, it's honestly one of those things where, you know, it's up to the discretion of the developer creating the map itself to actually add in all the fine details. Let's just get some functionality to what we're doing, and we'll go from there. How about that? Make everything lovely and working. Alright, so we got all these wall pieces. I'll actually do all that on my time instead of making you guys sit here and wait and watch that. We'll set up a range table, you know, set up all the barricades, and actually I'll make a maze of the different wall sections, and that way you can actually walk through like you're doing a kill house. But like I said, I'll do that on my time. Let's see what else we can use for targets, and we'll set those up. Or actually, let's go ahead and do this. Do a quick build. So we get all the lighting, all that taken care of. And let's actually look into changing the weapon out and getting that done now. So we actually have a Cinti weapon. This is actually the Cinti Studios Battle Royale. It's a relatively new asset pack they just came out with. And for those who don't know, Cinti Studios now has a Discord channel. I have active links in my Discord channel to get to them. I'm sure they'll have it up on their website and on their videos as time permits. What I've got here is just two different style targets, and I'm using the first person template, which I don't normally do. Let's see if we can turn off the shadows on the weapon. So we got the Weeble Wobble target that whenever you shoot it, it just kind of bobbles back and forth. And then we got this guy that just falls over. So we can actually set up a kill house, and you'll start like right here. I'll put something else to close that in. And you start the kill house. You have to walk through different rooms, and hey, look, oh, there's the target. And there you see this right here. Once that target's down, it's done. So later on, we'll set up like maybe let's zoom in. Set up a scoring system to where whenever you shoot something, it actually scores a point. The fun part of that would be, since there is a hit zone for the head, and oh, I just barely hit it. Oh, I hit the bullseye. That kind of stuff. Maybe try to set up a scoring system for the targets. But I think having two different styles. So for standard target range, this guy, you know, that's cool. But the sound of that gun is just bugging me. Let's make it our own, and that's music sounds. I've already added in my own sound file here. So let's actually go into our player character. No, not this. And player. First person character. And the first thing I want to do is FP gun. I thought there was something in here. Oh, right here. Cast shadow. Let's uncheck that and compile and save. And now if we go into the range, we look around, we don't see the shadow of our gun. Since we have no body, there's no point in having a shadow for just the weapon. Let's look at our binocs. Okay, no. The shooting part. We need to stop being able to shoot while we're in binocular mode. So we got spawn projectile, input action fire, and what we'll need to do here is let's make some space. Damn, how much room do you need to take up just for that? So we need a branch node. And we need to run it off of false and not off of true. And let's just try to move some of these around so we can make room. And off of this guy, we need to look at our binoc folder. Now, I've made all this stuff in the previous two videos. So using binocs, we'll throw that in here. Now if we're using our binoculars, we're not going to be able to shoot our weapon. And let's confirm really quickly. Weapons just fine. Let's go to our binoculars, let's zoom in. Huh, we can't shoot. So let's hit B again, turn off the binoculars, right click so we go into scope mode, and scope works. We can still shoot. I don't know where it's telling it. I'll have to find where it's saying, hey, draw the crosshair. It's not on begin play because I did that right there on begin play, so it doesn't automatically come up that way. This is the scope blueprint or section. That's fine. That's the binocs. Stick input, mouse input, escape menu. We're setting up something else on my escape menu so that I can start getting the save game ready. But I'm going to wait and do that later. Spawn projectile. Alright, so that's fine. Let's actually look at our viewport, and you can see our character is nothing but a set of arms and a gun. The problem we're going to run into is being able to replace these arms with some that'll work for the City Studios asset. So may actually just turn off visibility of the arms if I can't come up with another method. So we need the mesh, but we don't have to see it. So let's look at the gun here. And since it's just thrown in here as a skeletal mesh, we said that we were going to use from the weapons. And I need to look at the FP gun also to see if it's actually got anything else attached to it. So let's use the Sniper 01. I'm going to select it, go back into the blueprint, and now that I have it selected here, I can click the arrow and there we go. Now if we hit compile and save, we notice we don't have a scope, we don't have a magazine. So we need to go ahead and look at a couple different things here. And first off, let's look at the skeleton for sniper weapon, which will be right here. Kind of regret selling my EBR. So we'll go to right here and we will add a socket. And I'm going to select it, hit F2, and I'm going to call this scope. And I'm going to go ahead and raise it up and move it over. However, I want to go ahead and add a preview asset, and we want sniper scope. And which one did we want here? So actually look back here. I want to use heavy. No, I want to use sniper mill scope. So add preview asset, sniper mill scope. So by adding the preview asset, we see that it's actually rotated. So now we can just rotate it to where we want it. Position our scope. It's actually not bad, but we'll put it right there. And the next thing we want to do is select our weapon again, right click, add socket, and I'm going to select the socket, hit F2, and call this mag for magazine. You know what, let's go ahead and just name it all the way. Capital M, magazine. It is not a clip, damn it. Add preview asset, sniper, and we want, not the heavy, sniper 01 mag. Rotate it 90 degrees and put it in position. Pretty good. So now we hit save. We can close that. Now that we have the weapon selected here, yeah, I'm not worried about the hand position. With the weapon selected right now, let's go ahead and go to our scope and then add component, parent socket, scope, compile and save. Go back to our FP gun, go back here, find our magazine, add component, click it right there, parent socket, magazine, compile and save. So let's actually take a look at this. Now we got our weapon, and scope and magazine is casting a shadow. So we need to go back to them and cast shadow, uncheck. Sniper mag, uncheck cast shadows, compile and save, and now we have a sniper rifle. And we have a scope floating in the air. So we're going to have to go back over to, and I'm just going to rename these. This is going to be scope and magazine. So when we go to our event graph here, we look at our scope settings. Remember, we turned on and off visibility of our mesh and our gun here and turn it back on here. So all I want to do now is just grab reference to my scope, give it some room, grab a reference to our magazine, drag it in here, and let's go ahead and just connect those here and here, and do the same thing. Let's copy these two and connect them in here. Now, that was for the scope. We did the same thing for the binocs. So let's go ahead and do the same thing one more time. So now when we go into our binoculars or our scope, we're going to turn visibility on and off of our scope and our magazine, our gun, and our mesh for our arms. So now, go in, we got the weapon, go to our scope, weapon's gone, can zoom in, shoot our targets, come out, we got our gun back. Go into our binocs, it's gone, lovely, come out of our binocs, and it's back. Awesome. Cool, right? So, with our shooting range, now we have a sniper rifle and a target that wobbles, and we have one that knocks over. So we want to just go ahead and next I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder, walls, and we'll grab this. I'm going to shift left click to here, right click, move to walls. Now when I scroll up, I can close that and get rid of all that extra junk. And we'll create a new folder called props. Grab these two and throw them in there. Alright, so that keeps it nice and clean, neat and organized. And I'm just going to throw a few more targets out. Hey, how you doing, bud? And I can just grab that guy, Control C, Control V, and just grab another one, throw it in there. If I want to make more of this guy, I can go to my new target, and I've got all three pieces now have to be copied and pasted. Once I figure out how to get the physics constraint to lock into in a blueprint, then we'll do that instead. So now I can just sit there and do that. I can use this Control V. Once I got my barricades and everything in place, then I will go back in, and I'm going to delete all these targets except for one of the ones that we set up here. At some point, whenever I go to actually build the actual rest of this range, and I don't want to sit here and bore everybody to death, but I just wanted to see that we have the ability to copy and paste our rebound targets and our knockdown targets. And since these guys are actually in an actual blueprint, let's actually talk about that for just a second. Build lighting. Since we have this target in a blueprint, we can leave that one the way it is right now. We'll make a copy of it really quickly, and then we'll play around with one that's a resettable target. What the heck, you know? I like to keep these videos no longer than an hour, and we got about 10 more minutes. So let's actually go to our gadgets. Target. Yeah, I just kind of make shit up as I go along. I never really had any kind of education. I ain't got no education. I have some college, but, you know, Target 02 sounds good to me. Yeah, when I first started messing with computer stuff, then really there was no internet. So got my first computer in like 1983. So we got this. This is our normal thing, just our target there. It saved all its stats and everything else. And so let's go to event, begin play, and let's set up a base system here. So another thing that we want here is a variable, and let's get location. We'll make that into a vector. Might need to put that as a transform, but that'll be okay. And let's go ahead and hold down the alternate key, left click, drag it in so we have a set node. And what we want to do here is get actor location, and we're going to set that to our current location. Now here's the thing about getting started with Unreal Engine 4. It's only as confusing as you let it. If you just sit there, oh my god, it's so big, I can't. No. Start slow. Don't, you know, we were joking the other day that so many people jump into Unreal Engine 4. I'm going to make Fortnite. I'm going to make Call of Booty or whatever. You're going to make this AAA title, and you just absolutely get crushed. You're going to get let down. You're going to have disappointment. You're going to fail a lot. You're going to fail. I'm not sitting here trying to blow smoke up somebody's ass. You're going to fail. Whenever you start making your own projects and making your own game stuff with Unreal Engine 4, you're going to fail. Face it. But from failure comes learning. As long as you figure out how you failed, why you failed, and then regroup and go back into it and try a different approach. Just don't give up. You're gonna fail. It's just learn from your failures, figure out how it failed, why it failed, and how you can keep on going. And that's the only way you're going to learn and actually do anything good. So, okay, so event begin play. We're setting our current location, and that's cool, right? So that's all saved. What are we going to do with it? So honestly, we need to, if we look at it, if we go ahead and just place this target in here, stupid ass thing here, details. Now the fact that it's rotated 90 degrees may or may not be a problem, but so this guy is different from the rest. We'll zoom in, bang. And that's the thing. And I said, well, just watch my videos and you'll be a pro. Yeah, well, you know, the biggest thing I try to teach from people is just get over yourself. And that's where, and it sounds, well, just get over yourself, man. And it sounds harsh, but it's like, it's true. The biggest failure point is yourself. Because if you sit there and like, oh, this is kicking my ass, well, let it. You'll figure it out as long as you have the right motivation to do it. Wish I could do that with the rest of my life. The rest of my life is shit, so. Cold coffee. So we've got our location. When we first, bang, event begin play, we just set our location. Doesn't matter where it is. That's where we are. There's something to be learned in that too, but all right, on begin play, we've set our location. Still thinking I might need to do this as a transform so it saves direction, but let's look in here and see if we can grab a rotation. So there's rotation events. Get up vector. Ooh, yeah, that scares me thinking about that one. We want to get our rotation. So, and there is actually a different way of doing this. Rotation. We want to get actor location and rotation. So if that's what we want, let's try typing it in and see what happens. Get actor rotation is right there. So now we know what our rotation is, and we know what our location is. So let's create another variable. Variable. Get used to variables. They're going to be your damn bane of your existence. Rotation. And since there isn't, there's a rotator, and let's try that. And let's drag one of those guys in, connect that together, and there. We've got our location and rotation. Alright, so, and here's the thing. I've never done what I'm going to try to do right now before. And I don't know how to do it. I really don't know how to do it. And I'm just going to make it up and try to see if I can get it to work. So with our location and rotation, I want to come back over here into my category. I'm trying to stay neat and clean and organized. Let's give it a category for original, or let's just call this positions. Then I can go to my rotation and drop down box, positions. And now I've got those in here, and I can minimize that if I don't want to see them. So now we have saved our location and rotation at the beginning of the map start. What I want to do is try to figure out, how do we know that we've been moved? We've been hit, we've been knocked over. How do we detect that? I don't have a clue. So typically you could set an event off of your character. And if you look at let's minimize the Battle Royale pack and go to our player in this, since we already changed our weapon out, and if we look over here and this is the standard first person template. So this weapon stuff came with that. Your montage, all this stuff right here. When you get to your line trace components, you've got all this right here in your hit results. From those hit results, I'm sure that we could set up something so that target, the hit actor, from the hit actor, let's try this. Get all actors of class, and I'm gonna have to link this into the rest of the stuff here eventually, but I'm just kind of experimenting with this. Grab this, type in target. We're messing with target 2, and what we want to do is set an event. We want to trigger this event so that we know that that target's been knocked over. So hit actor, that's fine. Let's see if we can say, okay, our hit actor to that, and get class. And all I did was just drug the two together, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I didn't know if it was going to work or not. So get class, return value, and let's also, since we got that, out actors, I need to find out if that actor is target 02. So that actually is cool that it'll do that, but that's not what I wanted for right now. So let's go back to target 02 in here. Hit actor equal object, and let's go to, we need to figure that out. So let's try target the 02 here. It's a blueprint class, so that might work too. And from here we would have to do a branch. So if the hit actor is target 02, I still don't think this is going to do exactly what I want it to do. Then we want it to, we'll say, delay. And from our delay, let's set that to 5 seconds. And then, just till we figure this out here, let's go to that's running off of faults. So we're going to run this off of that here. And for now, since I don't know what the hell I'm doing, I'm going to run both legs of that to there. Well, that's not going to work either. If it's equal to true, you know what? I'm trying to make this more complicated than it's necessary. So let's actually run off of this and run a sequence node. Just for right now. And those two, actually no, I can actually break this. You just get out of my way for right now. Until I figure out what the hell I'm doing, we're just going to run that across there, and that's just going to keep running like normal. And then I'm going to bring this, just make this a big ass mess. Run this to here, and if it's equal to that, then run a delay. And you just come over here. What we want to do now is we are checking to see if it was that. And then let's try to get all actors of class now. And let's go back to our target 02. And we want to get a reference to our, let's actually set actor, no shit. What do we call that? Location and rotation. Let's actually try adding another variable in here. Transformer, lack of a better term or name for it here. Call it a transform. And let's drag that in here. Get let's set this one. But we have to break that. So make transform. Oh shit. Yeah, see, I have no clue here. I'm just making this up as I go along here. We've got our base location and rotation. Let's actually, so I don't know what I'm doing here just yet. Let's call this our origin. Compile and save. And let's go ahead and set that. Set origin. And then let's make transform. And from there, we're not really doing anything with scale. So let's show in our rotation and our location to actually set our transform to our origin as that. This is our origin. So I don't have a clue what I'm doing here. It's not letting me get that data here. Compile and save. Make sure it's there. But Now, this is not doing what I'm wanting to do here. So what I'm trying to get it to do is, and I'm just going to come back to this, and I'm going to redo everything back to the way it was before. What I wanted to do was be able to set up a hit event and get the actor's location and set it as a transform, so we can actually call this transform from there. And honestly, it would be cast to target, and see, you can't get a cast to work correctly. Cast to target over, try it as a class, but because then it's going to ask for an object wildcard, and what are you going to use for that? Because it as target to set actor transform, and then from there the new transform would be get origin and pump that into there. And that's what we'd want to do, is we want to reset it back to there. But the problem is going to be is, how do I get an object reference to this? Because if I hit compile and save, it's not connected in line, so it's not like it's a big deal. So if we come back over here and let's put in our sequencer node, and then from here, as soon as I connect it, there is no object reference. So you see, it's wanting the object, and yeah. Let's get actors of class. Throw that in line here. But then we have to get this. We have to cast to that object somehow to get that information. And set this target to that's just not going to connect into there. And if I promoted it to a variable, then that's not going to do anything either. That not a clue. Not a damn clue. So let's actually dump that for just a second and cast to target class. Class is already set to there. As target to and get origin. See, it's the origin. It's just not going to work. All right, suggestions. What am I doing wrong here? So we'll do. I mean, we know what the target class is going to be. Yeah, this is new territory for me. I'm trying to figure out new stuff here. Getting the class, getting the object reference, and that's the problem, is trying to figure out how we can actually directly do this. And the head actor, what I wanted to do is we definitely need to actually see if, so you got an object reference there and target 02. We can set that there, and we'll just run a branch node from here Connect this to here. So now we've got to have this in here. We need to know that, you know, this was our target 02. Then if it's true, we're on delay. But here's the thing: is we need to set the actor transform. Where can we get our origin from? We need to be able to reference our target to be able to put it right here. And you just can't, I mean, just run it to there because you're running a cast2 node. And the cast2 is not going to work because we don't have an origin. And what do you put in here for your origin? Okay, well, I'll just do that. I mean, let's actually dump that for just a second here and put that in there. But this is not going to work either. You see, target must have a connection, okay? Target. But it says right there, target is reference to that. Hit actor. I mean, if you did that, it won't connect directly to there. And, you know, we can't get a target reference to it. And all we have is cast2 and cast2 class. And class is not going to work. Right here we've asked if it's equal to this right here, but let's call it that. We've created a variable, and then let's just look at target, object type, target to object reference. Okay, so what about that? And then connect that to here. Do you like that? Does that work? Have no damn clue if that works or not. You just get shot. Okay, so let's change that to 5 seconds. So what we've done here, hit actor, is it equal to this? Got an object reference in here. By doing that, we're setting the transform to the origin. Hell, I don't know if that's going to work or not. So what we've done is we've got our actor location and rotation. We've set them. We didn't really need to set them, but in fact, let's clean it up and make it a bit more simple here. We've taken our location, which can go directly into here, and our rotation, which will go directly into here. And then let's move this guy, connect this back in here. So on begin play, what we're going to do is we're going to get our location and rotation and make that into a transform, go right into our set node for our origin. So this can go into positions, compile and save. So now we have this. We have our actual deal here. If we wanted to set those two other things, that's fine too. But in theory, now begin play. It should have just saved its location, and now when you shoot this guy, it should wait 5 seconds and it should teleport it back to its original location. This is a lot of damn work just to get this target to bounce back up again. And it's been more than 5 seconds. You suck copious amounts of ass. like those. Well, what the hell? So again, another one of those things where you're going to have to just keep tinkering with things until you get it right. So to show again, like these targets right here, I'm going to make another different type of target that's similar. You don't actually have to have an asset pack. You can actually do this with just nothing. Start with, I don't know, let's just be different here. And let's create a cube. Let's set this at 0, 0, and 0. Actually, yeah, let's bring it a little bit closer, just to kind of show off what we're doing here. And I want to go ahead and make this at 0.1. I'm going to raise it up to about, I don't know, let's raise it up to 400. That's lovely. Okay, so the next thing, and you can thank Dean Ashford for this one, because it's kind of a cool thing. So let's grab a, what the hell? Let's grab another cube. And what I want to do here is I want to get this, grab a location, right click and copy, go to our new one and paste. But then let's go ahead and drop its buttocks down here. And now, if I just did play, not very interesting, just a couple little things hanging there, no big deal, right? So next thing we want to do is scroll down here, simulate physics, mass. Let's make this about 500 in weight, and hit compile. And well, let's okay, so we can shoot it a little bit, but okay, anybody can do that. So let's add in a couple things here. Let's add in a cable actor, and let's attach it to this guy, and attach actor to this guy. Get rid of the offset to 0. Now we hit play. Oh wait, now we're getting closer. It doesn't have anything on there, so if we shoot it, it's gonna flop around. Okay, we're getting closer. So the next thing we want to do is grab our physics asset, or physics constraint, and let's actually put it here, the same location, but I am going to lower it down to around here. Wherever you put this item is where it's actually going to rebound. This is going to be the pivot point of the circle jerk, or the pivot point of where it's going to flop around. So you can put it up here, you can put it down here, put it in the middle. I'm just going to put it in the middle for right now, and then I'll show you how to redo it. So the top pivot area, we want this guy to be the anchor point, and then actor 2, let's make the target. So now if we do it, it makes our rope actually hold something, and now we can have a moving target that way. And that's the thing, is it doesn't have to necessarily be the cube. You could actually put anything you want as those things. I'm actually going to delete all this. And that's what we actually did here for I told you to delete. Thank you. Go away. So that's what we did for these 3 targets right here. We set up a physics constraint to actually lock it to the base plate. So if you want to do the same thing for, I don't know, let's look in here, and you know what, just for giggles, let's see if we can do this. set this guy in here, and I'm going to not make him an actual character. We're just going to make him just a static object. See, and that's the thing here now, is if we were to turn on our trace, this guy probably doesn't have collision. So let's scroll down and look. Physics actor, let's change this to block all. And let's simulate physics. Blah. Okay, so he just falls over and crumbles and does nothing because he doesn't have anything constraining him to this world. So let's actually grab him. Since we already have those coordinates saved, let's go ahead and paste. But let's lower his ass back down again. Alright, this is going to be kind of wrong in a couple different ways here, but you know what? Screw it. Let's go ahead and throw our physics constraint actor in and paste in those coordinates. Lower it down. And let's go ahead and grab cube. Doesn't matter where we put it because we're going to do that. You don't have to put the rope in there if you don't want to. So let's actually, top one is the base, the bottom one is actually the target. So if we hit play now, he doesn't look too happy. Okay, so it's stupid to do it with a skeleton mash with no rigging to it whatsoever that way. Let's actually click on the dude here. Go back to details. Yeah, it's probably not the best example to use is this. So let's actually just dump home cheese out of there. That was just no bueno. And we can put anything else we want in there. A crate. You can have that the crate actually become that or whatever, you know. Now, can you imagine what that would actually be good for is if you're setting up, and I'm just going to do this as an example, and let's grab another cube here. It's actually Control C, Control V. Let's copy and paste that one. Drag it down, and just purely as an example here, I'm going to lower the original one down to right here for now. Grab the physics constraint. I'm going to lower it down, and just like we did with the targets here, where this is going to be your pivot point. So let's actually lock this to your base, lock this to your target, and this guy needs to have physics. I'm not going to worry about the weight for right now. So what's going to happen is once it's activated, you can see it can't fall all the way over because the physics constraint is locking it and preventing it from actually going all the way over. So if you actually raise that up a little bit, even though we're inside the cube, if you think that cube is 100 by 100, so we need to compensate for it not being able to lay flat. You get the point. Your location, your physics constraint is actually going to constrain the location. I mean, hell, you can have it set way up here if you want to. So it ignores the base itself, and it'll just sit there and hang in space, and you can just shoot it whenever you want to. So you can do that as a sphere. Grab your physics, lock that to here, grab your sphere, And hell, let's set it way up there. But we didn't tell it to have physics. So you get the idea. Just stuff to play with. So a shooting range, something like this right here, you can set up your own shooting range. Just use your first-person template and create your own targets and so forth. You can use your physics constraints and that kind of stuff. I'm going to keep mine with the Cinti assets because it's just much cooler. But we have the ability to use our rifle scope, zoom in, and shoot these guys. They will fall over and kind of rebound back. You can adjust the weight on them a little bit here and there. Shoot this guy, he just falls over. What about you? You bounce, 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 fall over, rather, fall over. And I will make my own kill house out of the stuff here in City Studios assets, which you've got that wall, you've got one with a number on it, one with an arrow on it. You got a door frame, got a half wall, maybe you can jump over, got a window. You can put all these different things in here. The sandbag pieces, you can put whatever you want in here. Hell, if you want, you can actually put in cars, you can put in whatever. I mean, this is all, all you. You can set up the range however you want. So it's like this. Your target's sitting there, and let's put a destroyed car in. So he's hiding behind the car there. And yeah, whatever. There's a destroyed Humvee over here. Let's rotate it around. Put it in position. Whatever. And okay. Got a target. Let's zoom in. Can I shoot him through there? Nope. I can't shoot him through the car. But I can shoot you. I can shoot you. Oh, he's hiding over there. You get the idea. What did I do? Oh. Put the car on top of the target. Let's move you out of the way, and let's just grab another one of these guys. Now, one of the things that I would probably end up doing is you got collisions on the vehicle. And since you got collisions on the vehicle, it's going to stop the bullet unless you shoot over it. You can't shoot through the windows. If you want that to be different, then what you could do is actually go into your volumes, and it's actually get a blocking volume and throw it into the map. So as an example, a blocking volume placed in front of these two targets, and then we'll hit play. That one worked fine, but the blocking volume itself would stop you from going through, but not your bullets. So if you took the collisions, if you took this collision preset and said no collision, and now went to your blocking volume, and let's straighten this car back out again, just in the essence of time. So grab our blocking volume and place it into the vehicle or around the vehicle or wherever you want to keep the player from going through. I'm not going to get totally precise here, but set it up, scale it to fit the body of the car. And you could set it up one right here, and then another one that would actually be the same height as the hood. I'm actually just going to do this. You can actually edit these, from what I understand, with this geometry editing, and then take that, grab this guy, actually let's grab this, now damn it, this face here, and I'm going to extrude it. Don't show this again, just do what I'm telling you to do. Grab this arrow here and do that. And I'm going to do that, even though it's not scaled correctly. I'm going to go back to edit. And then I'm going to grab these 4 points. And then I can move that to here. Then I can grab these 4 points. And move those to here. And now grab these 4 points, move them back over, and I'll do one more operation after this. Do that. Well, actually a couple more. And then I'll take the top two. And I'm holding down the control and whenever I left click these. And then let's actually do that. So if you're running out of areas for your collisions and you're having issues with this, and setting up stuff like the unlikely event that Cinti Studios might have forgotten to put correct collisions in, not that that ever happens. Love you guys, but your collisions are a little bit on the dopey side sometimes. And just edit your geometry for your thing here. Well, let's grab this face and let's extrude and go here. Then grab this point and this point, and we're making our own custom collision. And you know what? This is going to be pretty good. I'll grab this one and this one, and we have made a full custom collision for this car. So if we hit play now, it's going to allow you to shoot through it, but you can now walk on it as if it was a solid object. Isn't that amazing? Look, I are a sniper, and I just shot him through there. Shot him through it. That are cool, right? They don't teach you this kind of stuff. Well, they might, but they don't teach you this kind of stuff. They teach you this kind of stuff on YouTube's. So now you can set up your own custom collision for something like a building that you need to fix, or a car you want to be able to shoot through. You can shoot through this all day long. No problem. What in the hell was that all about? Just totally fell through the world. Set actor transform. Oh, well. I'm going to get rid of this junkola for right now, because it didn't like that. And let's close this back down. Why did I fall through the world? I was standing on these guys, and it caused me to fall through the world. This should be fixed now. But yeah, this is a quick fix for setting up collision for an object that I just created a full custom collision that encompasses that whole car. I could sit there and grab this blocking volume. Well, I need to get it a little bit closer to this side. I can grab this guy and this guy. Let's just move this wall over a little bit. We can grab these two and lean the rooftop in. Grab that one and this one. Move this wall in. You just sit there and you can do this with BSB geometries naturally. But the cool thing is you can do this with your blocking volumes and make full custom collisions that match exactly what you need using the extrude and all the other functions inside here. You can create, like I said, whatever you want. I mean, this is all based off of your imagination and what you're trying to do. Alright, anybody got any questions before I get my buttocks out of here? There's my lovely full collision. And that was the big thing, is I wanted to be able to shoot through my car's windows while still blocking the character from being able to get around. Oh, got to jump right here on the hood, and then I can jump right here to get on the rooftop, and then I can do this and I can fall out of the world. So yeah, we got our own custom collision, we got our own custom targets we can shoot. See, if I tried to do this one right here, I can't shoot through because the vehicle is going to block it. So what I would do is probably use that same blocking volume. So if you do this, I'm trying to zoom in, but I can get a headshot above the top. Whereas this one, with my custom setup, I can do that. Alright, lovely. Thank you guys for watching. And like I said, hit me up on Discord. And make sure you check out Cinti Studios' new Discord as well. They just announced some really cool shit over there, so go check it out. Alright guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you around.